So now we're working on our first video of the series. I told you I'm going to make a bath bomb using the Heart Lace mold from Chic and Sassy BathAndBody.com. Again, you can go over to the website, or you can visit Elite Soapers and Body Products Facebook group and talk to Terry Coover, and she can help you out. So I have half of my recipe. I'm not going to share the recipe with you guys, but I am going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to separate my batch into 3 colors, and I'm going to mold them using the heart mold, and I'm going to have some sparkly, pretty embeds just for a little added pizzazz. Let me see if I can get you a close-up so you can see all this sparkle goodness. No, it's not working properly. Alright, whatever. You'll see it as I put it in. Alright, so like I said, I have my recipe here. Only thing left to add is my sweet almond oil, my polysorbate. The only reason I'm using polysorbate is because I'm not using all bath bomb colorants. I'm going to be using some mica because the colors that I'm looking for, I have to kind of make the colors as I go with a bunch of different colors. And the polysorbate is so that it doesn't stain the tub. Now, when you add polysorbate to your bath bomb, it will change the texture of your bath bomb. It will go from a fizzing bath bomb to, when you add the polysorbate, it would be a foaming bath bomb. So that's why when I add polysorbate into a bath bomb mixture, I like to add embeds so you get the foaming and the fizzing, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so I'm going to add my oils. Again, I'm not going to share with you how much oils I'm using because this is my own special recipe, but you don't need a lot of oils. The general rule of thumb is if you're using a basic recipe, which would be 2 cups of baking soda and 1 cup of citric acid, then you will only need about maybe a half to 1 full tablespoon of oils. You really don't need them that much. Okay, now I put my oil in there. Now I'm going to put my polysorbate. This is polysorbate 20 because I'm all out of 80. But the 80, I mean, they both work. The 80 is just for if you're using heavier oils and butters. But I only use light oils in my bath bomb, if any, really. So like you can see, I really use a bare minimum. And this, again, this is not a whole recipe. This is a half recipe. So if it looks like I'm putting bare minimum in there, I am, because it's not a full recipe. After that, I'm going to put my fragrance oil. This fragrance oil is something I created myself. I don't have a name for it. It's a mix of jasmine, vanilla, plumeria, and grapefruit. It smells amazing. And again, I'm just going to use a pipette to put that in. Fragrance is up to you, because I know some people like a lot of fragrance. Some people like subtle fragrance. I usually use, in a full batch, maybe 2 tablespoons of fragrance, or until I like the way it smells. I'm going to put a little bit more. And the way my recipes work is, once I'm done adding all my additives and everything, I don't really need a lot of binding. Because once you work it in there really, really good, then, you know, your batch becomes pretty wet. I know I forgot something. I'll be right back. Gonna grab my gloves. Again, I don't use latex gloves. I know you're gonna laugh at me because of my little plastic gloves. I'm allergic to latex, so I usually just sanitize my hands really, really well and then put on the plastic gloves. Because once I get to a certain point, I'm going to take the gloves off anyway because I love to feel the texture, because I need to know if I'm at the right consistency to start molding. And you're going to make sure you mix it really, really good. Also, another tip is I sift my dry ingredients at least 3 times. That ensures that you get that smooth texture that you're looking for when you mold. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. So these bath bombs are going to be, the embeds, as you can see, are a peachy color. And the outside is going to be red, pink, and purple. I'm big on love. So I like hearts. I like things of that nature. I like fairy tales. Not necessarily fairy tales as in Disney movies, but, you know, like fairy tale romance. I'm a sucker for love. So, color-wise, those colors, pink, purple, red, represent love to me. So if you ever notice, if you take a look at my Etsy page or my Facebook page, a lot of my items incorporate those colors. It's just a personal preference for me. So, like I said, you're going to make sure this is mixed in really good. I'm going to mix it in real good, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, now as you can see, I separated my colors. My batch. I'm going to do the colors now. Again, like I said, it's going to be red, purple, and pink. For the red, I'm using the Crafter's Choice Bath Bomb colorant, and you really don't need a lot because it's a very vibrant color. A little really goes a long way. I'm looking for a very deep red, like the color of blood almost. So I've put about a half a tablespoon of color, a half a teaspoon of color in here. And as you can see right now, you can't probably see because the bowl is also red, but once I wet it, it'll get darker. I'm going to put just a little bit more. For the pink, I'm going to use a neon that I got from TKB Trading. It's one of my favorite neons, actually. It's pretty good. Actually, and I'm also going to mix it with a little red so I can get that dark pink that I want. I don't want necessarily a neon pink, but I do want a nice, dark, lustrous pink. Okay, I'm sorry about that. My battery died. So I've got all 3 of my colors. My red, my purple, and my pink. I've glittered my mold. because I want the top to have a bit of glitter in it. And if you want to glitter your mold, you just spray some alcohol in there, shake the glitter in there, and then once the alcohol dries, it'll kind of be set into the mold, so it'll get picked up on whatever you put inside. So when you're using a silicone mold for bath bombs, you have to get your recipe a lot wetter than you would otherwise, because if it's dry when you put it in there, it's going to crumble when you get ready to take it out. So usually I would only put maybe, this is a half a cup of mixture for this. Oh shoot, look at that, making a mess. This is a half a cup of mixture for my red color. And usually for a half a cup I would only put maybe in a few spritzes of alcohol, but this time I'm going to put in enough spritzes until it seems to be completely damp. You see that deep red? And again, I use 91% alcohol for my binding. So I'm going to spray. We're already on 10 spritzes right now. And when I'm working on a silicone mold with lots of colors, I do one color at a time. That way you don't have to worry about anything drying out or anything like that. So that mixture is pretty good. You can see how wet it is, and then when I drop it, it stays together. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the bottom of the mold. Spread it out because I just want it to be in the middle of the heart. That's why I didn't make a lot of red. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit so you can see what's going on. And again, I'm just filling the middle of the cavity so the red is concentrated in the middle. I'm not patting down, I'm just filling right now. Remember, I told you in the other video, I don't do several pats. I do one pat, maybe two. I put a little too much in that one, but that's okay. Go wash my hands and move on to my next color. Alright, so our next color is going to be pink. Again, we start spraying. Again, you want your mixture a little wetter than it would normally be. You don't want to do it too much to where it starts to foam up on you, but you want it a little bit wetter than it normally is. See that nice, dark, lustrous pink? It's not a neon, but it's a nice, pretty pink. So this one took about 8 sprays, and we're going to test it. See that? That's the texture you want when you're using a silicone mold. You want it really, really, really packed together. You drop it, it doesn't break. Okay, so we're gonna fill up our molds with a little bit of pink. Then we're gonna put in our embeds and then add more pink. Make sure you get it so you spread it around so it's in all the corners. That might have been a little too much because I still got to get my purple in there. So for that one, I won't add any more pink. I'll just put the purple on top. So you fill it up with a little bit of pink. Make sure it's in all the corners. Add your embeds. You can add however many you like. I just happen to be adding 3. Put a little bit more. And these were just some embeds I had left over from some things I made for my niece's birthday. So I figured they would be cute in here. And I don't like wasting anything, so, you know, whenever I can use some stuff up, I'm happy about it. But again, like I said, you can use whatever type of embeds you want. And I know that the molds look full right now, but remember, it's really loosely packed at the moment. We haven't put any pressure on it whatsoever. And then I'll show you when we'll do that in a minute. And again, like I said, you want to make sure you get all of your bath bomb mix into all of those corners, because this mold has a lot of corners and ridges. So you want to make sure you get it all in there so that you have an even bath bomb when you pull it out. And when we're done, we'll make some, gonna clean this up a little bit. When we're done, we'll make some round ones if we have enough. From the leftover. Alright, I'm gonna wash my hand and we're gonna move on to the next color. And I'm making a mess. Alright, so we're at the last color. And again, like I said, you want your mixture to be wetter than it usually would be. I'm just wetting my purple with my alcohol and mixing it in really, really good. Now that I haven't fully thought out this concept, I think it would have been really good with some Love Spell, but I don't have any more Love Spell. Love Spell is not really a big seller for me. again, there's the texture we're looking for. When you drop it, it stays together. So, what we're going to do is, we have all our embeds, we have our first two colors. We're going to put the purple in. We're going to fill it up. I know you're saying it looks like a lot, but I'm going to show you how to get rid of that in a minute. And I do the same cup method that I did in my other video. Cup your hand and fill. Cup your hand and fill. Cup your hand and fill. Now again, I'm not saying this is the best way to do it. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. I'm just saying that this is what works for me. Cup your hand and fill. Okay. This is where it gets tricky. Because now you have to go in and press, 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 press. Press, 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 press. That's the key. You want to make sure that your mold is packed tight. Yes, excess will fall off. But again, you want your mold to be packed tight. And if you think you can't really tell what's going on, go ahead and remove some of that excess. Pick up your mold and clear it off in the bowl. So I'm going to clear some of that off. And then you'll see what we have left. Alright, I cleared some of it off, and I'm going to press some more. Clear it off. Press some more. Again, make sure you see how that corner is kind of empty? You want to make sure you get everything into every corner. Because if not, when you go to take it out of your bath bomb, when you go to take it out of the mold, you'll have corners that aren't filled. Alright guys, sorry the video cut off and I had an emergency I had to go and tend to, so I'm back. It's been about 2 hours later and this is not cracking. The bath bomb isn't cracking. I did that on purpose while I was making it earlier. I wanted to show you guys why we don't take bath bombs out of the silicone mold early. Like when you're making a regular bath bomb, you mold it and you take it out of the mold right then and there. When you're making bath bombs with a silicone mold, you want to leave them in the mold until they're completely dry, or else they break apart and they become really, really crumbly. See? It's almost like non-usable at this point, but that's good for us because we're gonna do a demo. So we're gonna demo the bath bomb that we made earlier, and I think I found a name for it. I think I'm gonna call it Twisted Desire. It's really pretty. I didn't get as much pink to show up as I wanted, but I'm still happy with the results. And it's still a little wet, so like I said, we're gonna demo it and see what type of reaction we're gonna get. It smells amazing. Again, if you're having problems with your bath bombs floating and or propelling itself around the tub, then you should check out my other videos, because the way I pack it and the adding of the embeds, it gives it enough air bubbles inside of the bomb to make it float to the top of the water, and the embeds allows itself to propel through the water. So if you're still having trouble, you should really check those out if you haven't already. And that's our bath bomb. Let's see if we can get you to see some of the sparkles in the water. It's really pretty. I'm happy we made it together. And again, I think I'm going to call it Twisted Desire. If you have any suggestions on what the name should be, feel free to drop a line, and I'll see you in the next video. The next video we talk about is going to be melt and pour embeds for our beach themed soap. See you next time.